Hey guys, on this episode of Gaming Collecting, me and Alex are going to continue on our second episode discussing old cartoons from our childhood. Boy, are some of these something. I honestly didn't remember a lot of them, but hey, that's the fun of this. But, anyways, guys, on to the intro music.
Don't you? How dare you? I wasn't ready.
Too bad. How you been?
No, I haven't. It's Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day. Did
Yeah,
you
when
sleep
this
in?
uh a little like 9 o'clock.
I wish I could.
Well, you
I
did it to
wish.
yourself. So
True. Do you know what she did that I found?
what did she do?
So for those who don't know, I adopted a kitten and she eats everything. I have to mutilate her toys so she doesn't eat them. But you remember my floor piano?
She ate the floor piano.
She ate the floor piano. I had to put it away because I kept seeing bite marks in it and chunks of it missing. She eats everything. I swear. I'm going to have to pay a huge vet bill someday because she just eats everything in sight. That's not food.
Wait until she eats string.
Oh, no. That she hasn't shown interest in yet. And I'm praying to God she doesn't because I don't want to deal with the poo string incident. Don't want to do that.
Was that your big poo story that you were telling me about, or did you have another one?
That happened today. What did she do the other day? When did I text you that?
It was like 2 days ago.
2 days ago? Oh! Well, I already kind of told you, but, so she finally... Oh, no! I don't know. Well, there's this funny video. I'll post it on the server at one point I took where I was, like, greeting her when I got home, and I was petting her, and then suddenly in the background I noticed two brown things that don't look like brown things you want on the floor. And in the video, I go, "Did you poop on the floor?" No! And that's how the video ends. But it was just hairballs. But yeah, she's just been loony the past couple days. I mean, I think it's just the kitten energy is finally coming out now that she's finally more comfortable. She's more insane.
So normal cat shenanigans.
I had a funny story. Like she did something. I guess it wasn't that funny if I forgot. But yeah, the barf balls, the hairball situation, that was pretty funny because I thought she pooped on the floor, but she did not. She did something though that was very funny. I guess it wasn't that funny. Anyways, oh yeah, we went on a bike ride yesterday.
We did. And we had to dodge humans.
Yeah, there's a lot. For the most part, like, I mean, we're biking on a bike path, so like at that point, I'm like, people gotta share the bike path road. Like, they gotta share. There's a lot of people coming.
Most people get out of the way. It's the there was the occasional like remember that one couple that legit saw us coming and then just proceeded to get right in the way.
Yeah.
It was like, okay.
Oh, it finally started raining.
It's been on and off all day.
Yeah, but I think it's finally like going down now. So I just looked behind me. I was like, "What's that noise?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's rain."
Yeah. No, I went out and got gas, and then.
You got gas?
Yeah, you needed to.
I know you have gas. You did have gas in the car yesterday.
Anyways,
not for the car though. Bill tried to murder me in his car.
But yeah, no, we went biking today. Today has been so lazy. Like,
oh, same.
I got gas in the car, and then I took my trash cans out, and then I sat on the couch for like 5 minutes, and the next thing I knew, it was like 3 hours later because I fell asleep.
Yeah, I had a pretty lazy morning. I like got up, fed poo, and then just kind of hung out. But I did work out. I worked out like right before this, so I did. My watch wanted me to. Siri popped up, and I was like, "Go away!" No, no, she's back. Go away. I said her name, and she came back. But yeah, I filled my rings. I did my working about it because usually I have dance today, but there was no dance today because class, because of holiday. Yeah. So, yeah.
I did a lot of home improvement projects this weekend.
Home Depot. I forget the Home Depot theme, but insert the Home Depot theme in your brain.
You had it right there. But
I did.
Yeah. Do. Anyways.
That's not where I was going with it. I could not remember. Honestly, I was thinking of more the Ghostbusters theme for some reason.
That's not even the Ghostbusters theme.
No, I was thinking of the one from the Nintendo the NES game.
Well, yeah, that's the Ghostbusters theme, but what you were doing before was not.
No, but in the beginning it goes I know. Anyways, this is not a singing podcast because, as you guys have clearly noticed, I am tone deaf. Bill.
Tone deaf, not tone deaf.
The tone. Leave
Tone deaf. That's a good one.
And you know, like when you eat and like you feel like something didn't it didn't swallow all the way and it's like stuck in your throat. Have you ever done that?
I usually will drink water to make sure.
I have been, and it's not going down. I think there's something like this stuck there. So
that's not good.
You think I don't know that? I finished the Apothecary Diaries.
That's good.
That one's really good. I really like that one. I can't wait for season 2. I'm probably gonna start collecting the manga because I really liked it.
Yeah. No, I built the closed storage thing for my closet, and then I was doing some work on my game room.
Yeah, you sent me photos.
I've like rearranged the game room a bit. I've moved games around so it makes more sense. It's not as clustery anymore. So
I think it looks nice in there.
Making progress. But yeah, other than that, not much is going on this weekend. A lot of racing.
Oh, really?
The race didn't end till 12 o'clock last night.
Ugh. It's late.
And they didn't even finish it. It got rain delayed. They just ended up calling it at 12 because I'm assuming because they didn't want to stay up any later.
Understandable.
Yeah. But yeah, that's been the weekend. Got to go back to work tomorrow. Not looking forward to it.
Waking up tomorrow is going to be hard. But we all have to do it.
Yeah.
Unless you don't have a job. And then you probably don't. So, good for you. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, anyways, so let's get back
to our... Thanks for watching the Gaming and Collecting Podcast. Shortest episode yet.
Serves her right.
Fucking dare you. How dare you. I'm going to mute your mic.
Yeah, she mutes her own mic.
Shit, I muted myself. Why can't I mute you?
Because I'm in control. I'm in control here.
That's not fair. You know what? Fuck you. You just get Anya.
That's fine. Yeah, proceed to flip me off. That's fun.
I'm just ready.
Anyways, we're following up on our episode from last week. We're going to continue talking about cartoons from our childhood because we didn't even cover half of it last time.
Yeah, well, we kind of like got like to like the 2 hour, the hour mark, and we were just like, there's a lot more we can talk about, and we're both tired. Let's take a break and get back into it. So I get, you know what we could start with?
What?
What did you call it? The Canadian...
the Cartoon Network Canadian Invasion.
Yes.
Where Cartoon Network went from having all of their own shows to they suddenly were just airing a whole bunch of Canadian shows, mostly Teletoon shows.
Yes.
What's interesting though, one of these shows actually debuted on Nickelodeon first.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Which
you don't
one?
remember? So you don't remember the brief period of time where 16 was on Nickelodeon?
No, I don't remember that.
It didn't last very long at all because that, let's be real, that show did not fit Nickelodeon's
No, it was
style at
yeah.
all. But they ended up dropping it, and it ended up floating in limbo for a while until one of the studio that does the show 16 also does another show which is much more popular
Mhm.
called Total Drama. And that show debuted on Cartoon Network. It was actually one of the last shows to still use like the old Cartoon Network logo too,
Oh, really?
before they switched over to just the CN logo.
Well, we shouldn't just brush over 16 though. We should probably talk about
Well, no,
that one.
we'll talk about it after, but
Okay.
I'm talking about kind of how how it all went. Because then
Okay.
Total Drama was such a huge success over there that then they brought over their other shows and 16 came back. And it fit honestly more because these shows I always remember would start and they'd always be like, yo, these shows are for more adult viewers. Don't watch if you're a kid. It was like the old Jackass things where they'd always have like the don't try this at home before.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely was like a more mature not I mean like nothing completely inappropriate, but it definitely wasn't for young
You
kids.
see straight up pixelated boobs in one
Yeah.
of the shows, one of the episodes of Total Drama. They also
Well,
throw up every fucking episode.
well, and I guess like to say the present, it's like one of those reality TV shows where
It's
they
a
send a bunch
parody
of
of Survivor, basically.
yeah. And it had 6 seasons plus a spin-offy plus the Ridiculous Race, which I just kind of combined in there, so 7.
No, the Redonkulous Race,
Oh yeah, Redonkulous.
which
Sorry.
was actually the comeback season, believe it or not, because the
Which one's
previous
which one's your favorite season of Total Drama?
either the first or third seasons.
For me, it's the first. I always feel. I mean, like they're okay, but the first one's always the best.
Well, the first was the most tightly written. Then
Yeah.
they just completely gave up with the second season.
Well, and I also feel like they like had good storylines, and then they kind of just shit on a bunch of them. Like especially all the relationships and stuff that got ruined in season 2.
Well, that was like any show like that where they have like characters going from. Well, I think the biggest thing with that show is they really should have just had a new cast every season
Hmm.
because like just keeping the same cast every year was dumb because it led to so
Yeah.
many problems.
But I guess it didn't do as well though, because all the other because seasons 1, 2, and 3 were all the same cast. Then season 4, I actually like season 4, The Revenge of the Island.
I
I
like
like the
season
cast members
4
on there. I
until I
like the
watched
guy
it
who had
again.
the multiple personalities. He was funny.
I liked it more the first time around. The second time around, I realized a lot of those characters were pretty badly written, though I won't
Yeah.
lie.
And then after that was All Stars, which it was a mix of the regular cast and then that new cast. And then I never watched
That season was bad.
All Stars.
Yeah. That was such a bad season.
Well, because it was a mix of all these different, yeah.
Well, no, they forgot how to write the show, and everything just became stupid. The realistic elements kind of went away, and it just became.
That's honestly after season 1. I mean, there were some elements that obviously weren't realistic, but like it became almost like you liked it because it was a cartoon, but it was also like kind of reality TV. And then after that, it just all became like very not reality at all, like a very much cartoon. And I feel like it didn't work as well with the show.
The most ridiculous thing from the first season was like there was like a Sasquatch man at one point.
Yeah.
That was really about it. Like other than that, like from there on out, it just got ridiculous.
Did you watch Total Drama Rama?
No, that was the one that was like they were kids. I was like, nah.
It had 3 seasons.
Yeah,
Like
it did.
3 50-episode seasons.
Yep.
That's so long. Did that air in the United States?
Yeah, it's on Netflix, I think.
Wow. And these were all the regular cast.
Yeah, it was a spin-off. It was kind of like it was like Teen Titans Go, honestly.
Wow. I never watched this one. I just saw it I was looking at the wiki.
I didn't watch the season after All Star where it was like a new cast on a new island, but they were all mental.
The like
One of the
Pod
character, yeah,
Pakati. Yeah, I don't
one
recognize any of these people.
one of the characters was freaking Doctor Evil. Like, let's be real.
Is that the purple haired guy?
Kind of like he was. They all were such like like stereotypical. Like each one of them had this dumb gimmick, and it was like it's like this isn't even real anymore. These characters are just like pointless. Like I was so happy when
Total.
they. One of them is straight up a larper. One of them is straight up a larper.
I mean, that's kind of great. What are you talking
No,
about?
he was the worst character in the show. Like it was
I'm
bad.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm like just looking at like I'm on the wiki. You know, like the fandom website. I feel like it's just like breaks every time I go on it now.
Well, no, the fandom websites break because nobody pays for like the advanced version, so they're all like full of ads and like there's so many ads that they
Yeah.
break the website.
Yeah.
The internet's
So
unusable without an ad blocker. It really is.
I need to get one on this computer because oh my god. Well, it's on my phone. It's on my phone where it says where I'm just looking at something on my phone and then like it's just like ad on the screen and you click it and you're like no and then you're quickly trying to jump off it. But yeah, I don't recognize half of these characters, but this was huge. I remember this was one of the shows that we would watch like when the episodes came out.
Well, yeah, because the first season had such an interesting storyline. You really wanted to see where it went.
Yeah.
Which is funny because then like I gave up on the second season really fast. You were into the second season.
Yeah.
And then you gave up on the third season because you were so disappointed with the second season. But I watched all of the third season. The third season was decent.
Telemundo? No, it's not Telemundo. What was it? Teletoon. So I'm trying to Teletoon cartoons.
Well, they also had well, we should probably touch on the Ridonkulous race. That was essentially it. Rather than doing a Survivor parody, they decided to do a parody of the Amazing Race.
Yeah, I like the Ridon. I thought that was fun.
It was a good. It was honestly the best season since the first season because they actually remembered. Oh yeah, this is reality.
Yes.
Then there was a team that was nothing but goth characters, and they somehow made it way farther than anyone thought.
And my favorite clip is the one where like they both lose their like goth makeup and they're like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, yeah, that was a surprisingly like they completely remembered. Oh yeah, this is supposed to be somewhat realistic, and they got about the stupid bullshit. They brought back the LARPer, and he was so bad that he actually was like the first one out, which was kind of funny. Yeah, that was a good series though. I don't know if I haven't watched it in 4 years, I think 5 years. I don't even remember the last time.
Total Drama Island in forever. I think I watched it during COVID, and then I haven't thought about it really since.
Last time I watched it was pre-COVID, so I remember enjoying it. I don't know how I'd feel about it nowadays, though. I don't know if the humor would still hit the same way as it did back then. 16 was an interesting one though too, because it was like the same humor and style, but like it was more of a sitcom-y kind of show. Yeah,
it was more of just them just living their daily life and stuff. But I always like the art style though. The art style was really nice. I think there was another show that had the same art style too.
Stoked, I think it was called.
Yeah.
It was essentially 16, but they were surfers.
Yes. Yep.
Also, like all the voice actors in these shows were Canadian, and it is incredibly interesting listening to it because you're like you can tell so much.
I will say, looking at the Stoked art style though, the 16 one just looks nicer. I mean, there's like the Stoked. I feel like they tried to like make it more shiny, if that makes sense.
It's more tropical. Sort of.
Well, but no, like the characters, like I like how these ones, like they're very like I don't know, like there's like gradients. I don't know if that makes sense, but like I just like the shading and stuff, and then the other one, I don't know. I like the style, but the shading's weird on all the characters. But
I didn't watch Stoked, so I didn't.
I think I maybe watched like an episode if it was on, But I don't think I ever went out of my way to watch Stoked. But I also don't think I went out of my way to watch 16 either, but it was on more often.
Yeah. I forget the studio that technically made this. I think it was Fresh TV was the production company.
Let's see. I think you're
Yeah.
right. I think I just yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I never watched any of their other stuff though.
Oh yeah, because they did Total Drama, 16 Stoked, My Babysitter's a Vampire. Oh, that's a live action. Garage
shows,
Band.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Bunks.
Ironically, like a lot of these shows lasted way longer than I thought they did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 16 was 07 to 10, which
Lucas the Spider.
never heard of it.
The cute little spider. Oh my god. So funny.
Yeah, that was a weird point in time because that was after Cartoon Network kind of was going through that weird like identity crisis phase.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you remember their short-lived live action period?
Yeah, I'm glad that they ended that real quick because I feel like everyone was just like, "This is Cartoon Network. We don't want this. We want
it was like
cartoons."
They were their live action phase just screamed we are trying way too hard.
Yes.
And they kind of forgot how to make cartoons for a while, which is why I think that's why they brought in the Canadian shows because they needed something to fill the gap.
Oh, this actually is helpful graphic of Cartoon Network cartoons eras. So that one, so Total Drama. Oh, do you remember Symbiotic Titan? I feel like that kind of fits in the same.
You've brought this one up many times, and
it's a good show, and it didn't get the screen time it deserved.
I remember seeing it, but I never really watched it.
How dare you?
Oh yeah, because this one was like super anime.
Yeah, that's why I liked it. Probably.
Most likely. Wow, that was a time.
It was a good one. I'm trying. This is actually very helpful. Do you remember the one? Wait, do you remember the series with like the little monkeys and it never got its ending? It ended with a cliffhanger. I think it was a Disney like DxD show.
I need more info than just
They're like
the show.
Little robot monkeys.
Oh, okay, robot.
Super that helps. Monkey Team Hyperforce Go. There we go.
Yes, that Little Monkeys does nothing for me. Robot monkey. You got to say robot monkeys because at least then I get. You said the show with the little monkeys, and I'm like, that doesn't help me at all.
But then you said that it ended with a cliffhanger.
Yeah, but that could be anything. That could be literally anything.
This one was very disappointing because everyone was like, "What?" and they never fucking finished it.
Super. I'm pretty sure we talked about this in our anime-inspired animation episode as well. But that show went on for much longer than I thought it would, and they built up to that ending, and then literally it ends on the most like disappointing cliffhanger ever, where it's like they're about to go into the final confrontation, and that was it. We never saw what happened.
It was a good freaking show.
Well, especially because the build up to that actual to the confrontation was so epic because everything was tying together, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be such an epic finish," and then just straight up, nope.
And then it was like, "No, not for you."
It's like, nope, no resolution there.
Oh, did you ever? We didn't talk about Ben 10 either.
Ben 10 was so. That was a show that I remember watching the original a lot.
I remember watching the original, and then like it was like Alien Force or something.
I remember when Alien Force came out, and I was like, when did this happen? Because I didn't know there was a time skip.
I remember I watched the first two. Ben 10 original, and then Alien Force. And then after that, did not watch anything else after that. And they have milked Ben 10.
Yeah, they've rebooted it since, and they're doing it again now.
I feel like every time they reboot it, people just get more and more disappointed.
Well, because the original first two shows, at least, were very tightly written shows.
And it was like a cool sci-fi show, I mean, especially like when you got more into like the grandpa's background and like how he knows so much more and like.
Well, I believe the show was created by comic writers, so there was a lot of comic book inspiration in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one was interesting. I remember some of the. It's funny watching the original and how incompetent he was, and then you watch Alien Force, and it's like, wow, he got his shit together.
Yeah, but then I mean it makes sense because he grew up.
Yeah,
He learned. But
I
I mean, the
forget.
whole concept of the show was cool, like where it was like, okay, he just gets this watch and he can become different aliens. It's pretty sick.
Well, at first it was like 10 aliens, but then suddenly they just start adding more, and they're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And then like some like person who knows what it is, like, all right, here, and then just plays around with it for 5 minutes, and he's like some other thing, and it's like, what?
Remember the weird tentacly man villain? The
No,
villain who's like
but
had the tentacle beard face.
I remember the anti-hero who became one of the main heroes in Alien Force, who was like a weird combination of all the monsters in the bracelet at one
Oh
point.
yeah. No, the main villain was like weird tentacle face man.
Oh yeah, I remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a design.
He was
That was,
scary. He was one of the ones where like you were genuinely scared of the villain of the show. Scary. It scared me. Yeah, but I never watched anything after Alien Force. After that, it was just kind of like, why? Why did we bring him back down to a kid?
well, no, there was another adult season after Alien Force, but I don't remember watching it.
Oh, I was wondering why the pictures were coming up weird. I didn't put Ben 10. I put Ben 19.
Ben 19. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I wanted to see the. Whoa. Some of these guys were stupid looking. Like there's one I'm looking at.
Careful how far down you scroll. Just be careful how
Cannonbolt
far.
looks dumb. I typed in the aliens. I wanted to see all the aliens that he becomes.
Even the aliens. Be careful how far down you scroll.
Bill, I understand. Bill, once I go on the internet, I just understand that I may see stuff I don't want to see, and that's just what you have to deal with when you.
That's just browsing Reddit.
Tony the Tiger alien. It's like a tiger man.
Sure.
Fucking stupid. Anyways, Ben 10, it happened, and I believe it's still happening as we speak.
Well, yeah, it's a cash cow franchise. They're not going to let that die.
Trying to think too.
It's like how they milked freaking Teen Titans Go for so long.
Oh my! It's still going. I actually saw an interesting TikTok, or it was a reel because I deleted TikTok. I just have reels now from Instagram. And it was one about how it looked at like how the Cartoon Network programming schedule changed from like when Teen Titans Go just came out to like the current day. And it like went from like being like Teen Titans Go would just be sporadically in there to like Teen Titans Go is all that Cartoon Network plays 24 hours a day. Like that's literally all it is.
It's just perfect for like that style of humor.
But you get it, like it was interesting to look at like the actual like it's all day. Like it's literally maybe there's 2 other blocks for other shows, but the rest of the day it's all Teen Titans.
Well, that's like how you go over to Nickelodeon, and at certain times of the week, it's just nothing but SpongeBob.
Yeah, they picked.
Or my favorite is
Lost.
Do you remember when Nick at Night had original shows?
No.
Well, Nick at Night like used to have original shows, but if you actually go on Nick at Night nowadays, it is literally most of the time just a Friends marathon.
Sounds about right.
I've noticed that many a time.
Did you ever watch Adventure Time?
Not really. I had fallen out of Cartoon Network ironically by the time the Cartoon Network Renaissance happened, where a lot of people claim it got good again. I kind of was out of cartoons by that point.
Yeah, I didn't really watch Adventure Time. I think I would see an episode occasionally.
I've heard it's really good. It's just that's when Cartoon Network really started turning into stoner TV.
Yeah, because this was the era of like there was Mordecai and Rick. Yeah, what was the name of that show? Mordecai, the one with the Robin and like the beaver.
I couldn't tell you the names.
The regular show.
There was the regular show. There was The Amazing World of Gumball, which I never
Yeah.
watched, and then Uncle Grandpa was my favorite, just because I was always like, "What the fuck is that?"
I heard that was really good though too.
It probably was. It's like the most recent South Park episode that came out that like where they one of the recent season episodes where they're making fun of TikTok, and like the literal response that all the boys have to watching a TikTok is, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah. Then,
that's like my response to pretty much everything from this era of Cartoon Network.
And then the other big one was Steven Universe.
Well,
that was
Steven Universe literally took over that Cartoon Network for a while there.
I mean, like I've watched Steven Universe from the beginning to the end. It is very interesting, and it has a very interesting a very interesting story. I mean, if you like Sailor Moon-esque shows, magical girl transformation shows, you'll probably like it. But it's also it was nice to see a show, especially nowadays where the world is so much more accepting, to show, different different type of couples, different type of relationships. It was nice to see,
It's kind of ironic that if that show came out now, it probably would have done even better.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it did. I mean, it still did really good, and it ended up it went along for a while.
It got saved by Tumblr for a while there, back when Tumblr was still relevant.
Yeah,
because it had it suffered in ratings for a while, but like Tumblr would like constantly hype the fuck out of it, which is why it kept getting renewed. I believe something like that. I never watched it personally, just because, like I said, I was full on anime by this point.
No, yeah.
Live action stuff. I wasn't really
anything I saw, like maybe like it was only if I saw clips of it. The only one I really remember watching was Steven Universe, but anything after that, I was out. I don't recognize any of these shows.
Yeah, by this point in time, I was fully into like adult animation. Like I was watching like Simpsons still. South Park was a huge one. Futurama, like stuff like that.
Oh.
Yep, go on.
We didn't talk. You cursed us the other day for not mentioning this, but Johnny Bravo and how it would not work today.
That show is really funny in context. Watching it now, it's like, holy fuck! Like how would this work?
No, it would not. Johnny Bravo would probably be Me Too at this point.
Well, here's the thing, though. Basically, every episode ended with him getting punched out, or like basically, he never succeeded. He was always like basically
and it was very deserved most of the time too.
Like he never got away with anything. Like he always got punched out or like slapped away. Like because he was just such a stupid character. Yeah, that's definitely a show that wouldn't work nowadays. I think Seth MacFarlane wrote a lot of that, which makes a lot of sense in hindsight. Do you remember Cow and Chicken?
Yes, but no.
So you didn't watch? I just always remember that show being like, that was like the first era of Cartoon Network. It was like, if you thought Nickelodeon was weird.
I gotta look that up. Cow and Chicken.
That is early Cartoon Network. Like it was around.
Yeah. I know these characters, but I did not watch this show.
Yeah, it was one of the ones that you'd see because it was just happened to be on before something you wanted to watch was on.
I don't remember what cartoon show what TV network this was on, but do you remember Mucha Lucha?
I think that was. I do remember this one because that was the one with all the luchador wrestlers.
So there was 2 luchador shows, I think. There was Mucha Lucha, and then there was El Tigre.
Well, El Tigre was the Nickelodeon show that lasted 1 season.
Yes.
I can find it. Yep, it pops right up. What channel was this on? Oh, you can watch it on. Oh, it was Kids WB, so it was the other channel.
I gotta say, I remember watching Mucha Lucha, and I remember I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I couldn't tell you what any of the episodes were about, but I mean, hey, just a world of everyone who thinks they're a wrestler is pretty fun.
Well, yeah, everyone was a wrestler.
Yeah. My favorite character was the stinky one, who was,
Yeah, the
I
flea.
believe his name was Fleet. Yes, he was my favorite one because he
I
kind of
always
reminded me of the brother from the Wild Thornberries.
Yeah. See, I always remember him because there was one episode where he just covers himself in garbage for the entire episode, and I'm just like, that's
Yeah,
great.
understandable.
That's
I remember there was a
that's
little
wonderful.
Peapod character too.
I remember the toilet had a mask. That's how psycho that show was.
Mucho Lujo was silly, but it was fun.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And then El Tigre.
El Tigre did not last very long
I
at all.
like the character. It didn't last long, but I really like the character designs on El Tigre. It was really like the designs and the art style. I liked it a lot. I don't think the story could back it up, but
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
art style and character designs were fun.
The full name of the show, El Tigre: The Adventures of Manny Rivera,
Ah,
lasted one season.
had a DS game.
Everything that Nickelodeon had a game at one point.
What the fuck? Sorry, I scrolled too far.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to remember because it had some pretty decent voice casts on it. Like Gray Delisle was in it, Eric Baza, April Stewart, like a whole bunch of well-known actors and actresses were on that show. It just nobody watched it.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame too, because it was pretty fun. Because I mean, like, his dad was like a hero, and his grandpa was a villain, and he was kind of like torn in between. And then he had his little girlfriend. Like, it was cute. I remember El Tigre. It was cute. But it was funny that there was two shows that were kind of luchador wrestlers.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. That was that period of time where Nickelodeon tried a lot of show ideas and so many of them bombed. Like, do you remember the X's?
No.
That was the one about the superhero family. Like, and they just like all were like spies and stuff.
Oh, isn't it? I need like a photo. I need a photo to remember it. I'm looking up like the errors of Nickelodeon cartoons.
Just type in the X's.
The X's. Nickelodeon. Oh, I don't remember this one at all because I was thinking of a different show.
It was another one. So it was another one seasoner, but I always remember because these shows would always get like Christmas specials during like Nickelodeon's Christmas season.
Huh.
Do you remember
Disney cartoon errors? That's what I want to see too. Because I remember there was another show. It was like the test. No, it was like some sort of other family where they were like someone was a spot. I don't know.
Going back to Nickelodeon real quick though. This is an older one, but it's one I just thought about. Do you remember Kablam?
Kablam.
So no. Kablam was the show that it was like a sketch show. Like they would go through all these different segments, but it had these two like animated characters who were like the hosts of the segments, and they'd have their little like back and forth, and it would cut to the different like mini shows. Like there was a
I think I know what you're talking about now.
Like the most famous one was Action League Now, which was like a parody of like the Justice League, but they were all like toys. And
yep,
one of them was The Flash. He's big and naked, like just.
Flash.
And then my favorite was and Melt Man with the power to melt. Like it was just. I remember because that show was so popular that it actually spun off into its own standalone block that lasted like one season because it couldn't stand on its own. Such a different time for shows.
Bill, do you remember Fanboy and Chum Chum?
I know what show it is. I never watched it.
I remember like it would be on TV and I would be like, ew, and then switch the TV immediately. That's all I remember of it, that being terrible. It was
I saw like 5 seconds of an episode and just went, Nickelodeon is dead. And then I just walked away.
We didn't talk about All Grown Up.
Oh, All Grown. What a show. What a show that was. Yeah, so All Grown Up, the elementary, middle
No, I
school.
think they were in middle school.
Yeah, middle school Eric Rugrats. I remember the movie, like the special that they did for it
There
being
was a
better than.
movie.
Well, it was like a special episode, like made for TV episode kind of thing.
Mhm.
I remember that being better than the actual show that came after it. So here's the thing. Someone made the point that made a point that actually made a lot of sense to me, where they kind of mentioned that like the problem with All Grown Up is Class B Cusco already made a show that was basically this but better, and it was called As Told by Ginger,
Ah, yep.
and nobody cared about that one. Meanwhile, All Grown Up lasted like 4 seasons, I think.
Yeah.
It was basically if you wanted more Rugrats, I guess.
If you wanted Rugrats, but have them not be babies,
Yeah.
here you go.
I
Yeah.
have very little
I don't
recollection.
remember any episode. The only episode I remember is like I don't remember who was there, but they were like at a museum of like a science museum, and it was like going through the human body. I remember.
Oh yeah,
that.
because I remember that episode because Tommy was being a little shit to Grandpa the entire time.
Yeah, that's the only thing I remember.
Well, because I remember because the point I remember of that episode is they were like he complained to Grandpa that he was going too slow through the museum, and then Grandpa's like, "Okay, fine, fuck you." And then he's like, all of a sudden, like, "All right, here's the left ear ventricle. All right, it looks exactly the same as the right, so we don't need to look at it. It just keeps going forward." And it's like, okay, that's fun. Yeah, that was a show.
Do you remember the Barbarian show? It was like Conan the Barbarian or something, or
Conan the Barbarian is a different thing.
No, it was like
entirely.
something the Barbarian. Like it was. I remember. Wasn't that Nickelodeon?
That sounds like a Disney show to me.
I think it was Nickelodeon.
I think it was Disney.
I'm gonna okay. Barbarian.
Dave the Barbarian.
Yeah, Dave the Bar.
That's a Disney show, I believe.
I thought it was, but then it might be. I could be right.
Disney.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's too Disney.
Look at that art style. That is a Disney show. Like
yeah.
That's it only lasted one season. It felt like
it was not a great show.
I swear it was longer.
It felt long.
Granted, years went by a lot slower then, so and they played reruns of it for like ever.
Yeah. I remember Dave the Barbarian just for the art style. Having its
you also got to remember too that Disney had a policy where a show couldn't go over like I forget how many episodes it was. I think it was like they couldn't go over like 50 episodes.
Yep.
Because actually the show that broke that rule was Kim Possible.
Yes, I remember that because that was a really big thing. Because everyone was like, no.
Yeah, that was like your like go-to for like years.
I mean, it was a good show. Did you see the image I just sent you?
Oh God, what are you sending me now? Oh yeah, I remember that. That was terrifying.
Now that we're on the Disney trip, do you remember Teacher's Pet?
I remember Teacher's Pet had a movie.
Yeah, but they also had a TV show. I think it had a TV show before the movie.
The movie was the TV show was long running. The movie was fucking horrifying though.
Yeah.
Fucking turning into a human. Like what the fuck was that about?
Pinocchio. I just remember some of the characters. I remember it was like a Pinocchio, transformation at one point. But I just remember a lot of the characters designed in the show were hideous. They were
it was a very
ugly.
It was a very grotesque looking show.
The characters look terrible, terrible. Also, just the concept of like your dog gaining like reality and it's like I'm going to school with you, and you're like, could you go as like a dog and not like a classmate, please? Thank you.
Well, it was a dog that wanted to be a human, but his owner just wanted him to be a dog. It was like the whole joke.
And then there was the mad scientist man is hideous. All the characters are, but ugh,
See that
Gross.
that was such a cartoon logic show though, because like they'd always be like, "How does nobody notice this blue human is not clearly not human?"
Well, I think it also was a world where there was purple people, so.
True. Speaking of that, that just reminded me of Doug.
Doug.
Is like, why wasn't one of the characters blue for no reason?
Yeah, why not?
Oh yeah, Skeeter. Skeeter was his name.
Not a great name.
Doug was a show that I remember like you'd watch, and then like I remember it being really boring, but then you watch it now and you get it more.
Yeah, I don't remember anything from. I remember it being on. I remember the theme song, but I don't remember anything else.
I just remember it being goofy as fuck. Then it channel hopped from Nickelodeon to Disney, and the Disney version was massively inferior.
Do you remember the Proud Family?
Yeah, that got a
weird movie with the peanut people.
Yeah, that got a reboot recently.
It did. Well, I remember seeing that.
A return. Yeah, that went on for a while.
I like the Proud Family. It was a fun little show. A bunch of the kids were assholes, though. When you look back at it, you're like, wow, these kids are dorks.
Yeah, that was the thing about that show. It was a show that was all about like friends having their backs, but they like turned on each other a lot.
Yeah, they never had their backs. No. Like they never did. They were jerks. Terrible friends.
the only thing I remember about that show was that the high school was named after a race car driver, Willie T. Ribbs, which is really kind of awesome in hindsight. But
and the terrifying peanut people from the movie.
Yeah, that movie was weird.
Like it was so strange.
There was so many weird things about Disney was strange. That's all I'm gonna say.
Disney had a lot of. I feel like Disney has so many forgotten cartoons, but then so many that were like good. Like remember the Emperor's New School, like that Emperor's New Groove show.
Yeah, where every fucking Disney movie got like a show that lasted like a season or two.
I like the Emperor's New School. I thought it was a good show.
I barely watched it. I was kind of out of Disney. Like I said, I was watching like adult animation by that point.
Yeah.
I remember there was that one. There was Hercules had a show for a while. There was the Aladdin show.
Aladdin had a show. A bunch of them did have these low budget shows, but there was
the animation was significantly worse than the movies.
Speaking of animation and just choices, do you remember American Dragon Jake Long? And how they ruined the show by changing the art style halfway through and making everyone angry.
So you know what I remember? Not so much American Dragon Jake Long. I remember from this era where every show on Disney Channel crossed over with Lilo and Stitch.
Oh yeah, because the Lilo and Stitch show, I will say that was a good show and it had a good concept because the end of the movie ended with like, okay, you need to collect we need to find all the other Stitch.
The end of the Stitch movie did.
Yeah.
Because it's confusing because there's the original film, there was the Stitch movie, then there was Lilo and Stitch 2, which like seems to have nothing to do with anything. And then there was the TV series, and then there was Leroy and Stitch.
Leroy. Yep.
And then there was and then there was the Stitch anime. That was bad.
Yeah. But please, you need to look at American Dragon Jake Long and how they had such a cool looking dragon, and then they just turned him into this weird, ugly snake design. He went from beefy buff dragon to bleh. Like I just remember like the art style change and just being like, why? Like why? Like why did you do this? Like
probably budget cuts, change studios, stuff like that happens a lot.
It just like sucked. I remember like the show ended really shortly after that. Also, why does it look like a fart cloud when he changes it to a dragon? Well, that's what it looks like. Hold on, I'm sending you a photo. Oh my god, I forgot about the thing I sent you earlier. Ew. Why does it look like a fart cloud? Why did they choose that putrid green color?
That is a choice
of cloud color.
That is a choice right there.
That is the ugly dragon design. And here, I'll just send you so you can understand.
I've seen it. I know what it looks like, Alex.
I need to remind you, just in case you can understand the disappointment in the show and how it went from cool dragon to stupid little fart cloud dragon.
Whatever you say, Alex. Yeah, that was a period for Disney, because then after that, Disney's like cartoons really kind of started getting less and less.
I think they really, there wasn't that many. I'm trying to remember what other cartoons there were.
Well, the big one that they had after that era was
sorry, this is going backwards, but do you remember the Buzz Lightyear show?
oh yeah, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command.
That was a good show. That was good.
It was that, and then Tarzan had a show. You remember the Tarzan show?
Yes. Oh, you know what? I'm like looking back though. There was some good ones hidden in there. Like remember, because we can't not talk about Phineas and Ferb.
That was what I was about to allude to before you rudely cut me off.
Sorry.
I was about to allude, after that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say after that era, their last major show that was massive was Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah. Well, and I think they actually did have some newer shows though that came out. Like
I couldn't tell you any of them.
I know they did
sure
like an animated series of like from remember the Rapunzel movie, Tangled? So they did an animated series for that, and apparently it's really good, and it builds a lot of lore for the background of the show, which is pretty interesting. Like the background of the movie and story. But then I also know there was like Star versus the Forces of Evil. That was a Disney show. And then I also remember Gravity Falls. I've never seen it, but I've heard a lot of really good things about Gravity Falls. So
that was all past the point where I stopped watching, but I'm sure.
These were all pretty recent. Like I would say late 20 teens, like 20 teens, and like going into like early 2020s. So
yeah. Now the last Disney show I vividly remember was Phineas and Ferb. Mostly because Bowling for Soup did the intro.
And honestly, it's a good one to remember because I'm looking at some of these other ones, like the last few ones. Like, do you remember Brandy and Mr. Whiskers?
I remember it, but I could not tell you anything about it.
It wasn't a good show. You didn't miss anything. And then there's like a couple other ones like that they tried and they didn't do well. But really, I think Phineas Ferb was definitely one of their best.
Well, it just had a good writing team. Because I think
it was so silly. Like, like just like the sister being like, Mom, look, and everything's back to normal. And they went on this crazy adventure during the day.
Yeah, then the fact that the show lasts like one summer, which is bizarre.
Yep. And it's like there's too many shows per one summer.
Yeah, well, it's because all these shows have a lot of these shows just have kind of like floating like continuities where like time passes, but not like as you'd think.
Hey Bill, guess what show that they have now?
What?
Bluey! John!
Still haven't watched it. I can't say I have.
I've seen clips. It actually looks really cute every time I see the clips of it. I won't lie. Maybe I'll watch Bluey someday.
Actually going back, a show that we never talked about.
What?
We didn't talk about Jimmy Neutron.
Oh, I thought we did.
No, we completely didn't last time, and then I mentioned we should, and then we've also ignored it this time.
I mean, we've talked about Jimmy Neutron a lot, though, so it's understandable.
Well, we've talked about the game. Talked about one of the games. We never talked about how the show was hilarious.
The show was hilarious and looks terrible.
Well, at the time, that looked amazing.
Yeah, and honestly, so many. Oh, but then if we're gonna talk about Jimmy Neutron, we gotta talk about the spinoff.
We'll get to the spinoff because there's things to say about it. But can we just talk about how this show had some of the best written characters?
Oh my god! The Jimmy Neutron. Oh, I think it's a fake design that someone made.
Probably.
But is there Jimmy Neutron pop? But just imagining the hair on a pop figure is pretty hilarious. I mean, my favorite character from the show is obviously the one, the only Carl. Carl Weezer.
Wait, you didn't like Hugh Neutron?
I mean, yeah, I liked him too, but
The
Carl
best.
was the best character because Carl like didn't want to fucking be there. He was just reeled around, and he's like, I just want to go home. I
See,
have asthma.
my
Or
favorite
something.
episode is the one where they're in space and like Sheen's asking
Jimmy's
Jimmy all the.
mom.
Okay, that was weird. That was really weird. That image that you sent me of like the image of her in the tiny jar is still horrifying. Because that happened, and I still remember it vividly.
Carol.
Also,
Weezer.
no, Alex, the greatest character in that show. Slap, 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 clap,
Clap,
clap, clap.
clap, clap, slap, 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 clap, clap, clap. And that's one of the things I still quote to this day.
Well, also the whole like the episode where they did Macbeth in space, and he played like the serious villain, and he was super into it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say though, how could we not talk about Hugh Neutron though, like the best dad in all of cartoons?
Yeah, I just found the jar picture.
Well, it's like they had that quote. It's like one time I sat on a banana, and that changed my life.
My life.
It's like what? It's
What?
like what? Oh man. Also the weird why are you sending me this?
Because I had to see it, so you have to see it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say though, there was the episode where they were in space and Sheen was asking Jimmy how they can breathe in space without helmets, and whenever Jimmy tries to explain it, it cuts.
Monkey's episode.
No, this was a different episode. I
Oh.
just remember it because like Jimmy would start explaining it, and then it would cut to Carl singing over his explanation, so you wouldn't be able to hear what he was saying. And they do this; they repeat this joke 3 times before they both yell at Carl to shut up.
How dare they? Carl is the best. I wonder if there's fan art of him and his Jimmy's mom.
Yeah, look that up. See what happens.
Man. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, that's about what I
You
expected.
want to see the mom like him? Jesus! What the?
You play dangerous game, you win dangerous prize.
Great.
Oh yeah, so we can talk about Planet Sheen now.
Oh, that was a dumpster fire. The animation was slightly better, but somehow uglier at the same time.
Well, the original studio was that studio with like the DNA design. It had the monkey at the end. You remember the monkey at the end of every episode? Hi,
Yeah.
I'm Paul.
Hi, I'm Paul.
That studio went on to make the Ant Bully, and the Ant Bully bombed so hard it killed the studio.
Womp, womp, womp.
So a different studio went to make Planet Sheen, and it shows.
Yeah, it ain't
Did
good
he-
show.
Did he ever get off the planet, or did it just end with him stuck there forever?
I don't know. I don't because I didn't watch it because it was terrible.
I
Like, that was
watched
probably
one
one of
episode.
the worst shows that Nickelodeon ever came out with in terms of quality. Was terrible. Like jokes
Mother
weren't
of
funny,
God.
just awful. What?
Why did you send me a picture of Carl cosplaying as Sasuke with a body pillow of Jimmy's mom?
Because I saw it and you needed to see it too.
I have many questions.
Oh.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Bill, I should have got you for this during COVID times. What a mistake I made. What a mistake. Don't you want it? I can still get you it.
No.
Why not?
Don't waste your money on stupid shit.
It's great. What are you talking about? It's not stupid. You know what's funny is that this photo isn't even like a fan image. This was a legitimate photo from the show. I gotta find Discord. There you go. Because Carl really loved Jimmy's mom.
Yes, I remember that. That was a freaking arc that came out of nowhere because like it wasn't a thing until like halfway through the series.
Slap, 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 clap, clap, clap. This is my new profile. I'm changing my profile picture. on
to what?
Discord to this.
Go for it.
My picture looks weird. People don't question it. Never mind. Never mind. Oh my god. I think I found the real one. Never mind. This is what my picture is gonna be. This is very entertaining for the listeners.
Okay, sure. Anyways, so speaking of you said Jimmy Neutron looked terrible animation wise. I will say it has a charm to it, unlike other shows from that era. Like, do you remember the Butt Ugly Martians?
Oh, yeah.
That was terrible. And it also only ever aired like twice, I swear.
Was it really called the Butt Ugly Martians?
Yes, there was a show called the Butt Ugly Martians.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
ugly. It was an awful
they
CGI
really
show.
were ugly. Do you remember there was like a crash test dummy show?
I remember it. I never watched it though.
I gotta find that. Because that was a cartoon.
It certainly was.
That was weird. Yeah. The Incredible Crash Test Dummies. They
I'm trying to think.
Were just crash test dummies. It's so weird.
I'm trying to think of other early CGI shows. Like the only other one I can really think of is like the Donkey Kong Country cartoon.
And Veggie Tales.
Veggie Tales aged. That aged well though. Like that has a charm to it.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it was early CGI, you know.
I'm talking about the early CGI that didn't age well.
Oh, why didn't you say so? Early CGI
the Donkey Kong
that didn't age well.
Alex, just look up the Donkey Kong Country show. It is horrifying.
Donkey Kong Country show. Donkey. Ugh. Why did Jar Jar pop up?
Good question. So this show.
Favorite Star Wars character is Jar Jar Binks.
He was never that annoying. I don't care what anyone says. He was never that annoying.
Phil's a fanboy.
Okay, I found it. I found the perfect image of it for you. I'll send it to you in a second.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It better be slap, slap, slap.
There you
go. Clap, clap, clap. Yeah, I'm looking at that right now.
Yeah, isn't that show was awful, and it was one of those shows that like every episode had a song in it for no reason.
Yeah, why not?
There was a whole entire episode where Donkey Kong and Candy Kong sang about how their love is like a golden banana.
Wonderful.
Such a fucking stupid show. I remember I had that VHS we rented from Blockbuster of that show, and I watched it on repeat for a while before I had acquired taste.
Before I didn't suck.
Well, because you remember that point in your childhood where everything was good, and then you just kind of like you grow up and you acquire taste, and you realize not everything is good.
You realize, what was I thinking? Oh, you know what show was great? Roly Poly Oly. But we already talked about that a while ago.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
When?
Yeah, we did, because we talked about on the show where we talked about Gullah Gullah Island.
That was 2 years ago, Alex. I don't remember.
Well, Roly Poly Oly is a good show. It was very silly and cute.
They were robots, right?
Yeah, like weird little robot people.
That was CG. That was okay.
No, because remember we talked about that, and then we talked about the spider one with the scary Spider-Man.
Vaguely, I remember JJ the Jet Plane more than anything because that show's horrifying.
Spider-Man cartoon.
Miss Spider's Sunny House Patch
Yes,
Kid.
Spider-S. Spider-S is frightening. Very frightening. Creature.
Children's TV shows are horrifying. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, you remember Alex, you remember Ubi.
The hand show?
Yeah, the hands with googly eyes.
That wasn't frightening. That was fun.
That was just acid trip. That's all I can describe that show as.
How was that an acid trip? You're crazy.
Who's the one that was like, It's like, oh, like that. That was the show, like just hands. That's like you got high and you just stuck googly eyes on your hand and you started doing a puppet show or something.
JJ the Jet. Sorry, I'm dying.
It's so awful that it killed you a little inside.
It did. I'm dying. Goodbye.
I don't know what was more horrifying, the original model JJ show or the animated one that was also ugly.
They were both equally terrible.
Yeah,
both terrible in their own ways.
That was trying to get a kind of trying to bandwagon off of like the Thomas stuff, which Thomas has aged wonderfully.
That aged like milk badly.
Yeah, JJ aged terribly. I mean, it wasn't really good to begin with.
Agreed.
I'm trying to think.
Cartoons.
Yeah, and we're not even we haven't even touched on the superhero shows or.
Yeah, but I didn't really watch those as much. I feel like I don't really have that. You might have watched them, but I didn't really watch them as much.
You watched Teen Titans, I know that.
Oh yeah, Teen Titans. I feel like though we could probably maybe invite some friends, talk about some of the cartoon, like the superhero cartoon shows.
Oh yeah, down the line.
There are so many of them that we could talk about, like because even like the Batman shows, all of those, the animated series. There's a lot we could talk about.
Yeah. Now, other than that, though, cartoons were weird. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm noticing looking back on, and a lot of them really ugly.
Yeah, like, do you remember the show where like the kid goes to like the humans to the human goes to the animal school and it's like
my gym partner's a monkey. I already talked about that one the last episode.
Did we talk about it or did we just mention it?
I mentioned it, but yeah, that one was weird show.
That was such a stupid concept. The
concept just was so dumb. Well, yeah, I mean, because one, there wouldn't be a school for animals at this point. But two, like the fact that someone's last name is Lion and he goes to an like just dumb.
If you watch the intro to the show, the only reason he got put there is because he spelled his last name wrong.
Yeah, I think it's literally, or like the school did. I don't know. It was a dumbass reason. Stupid. Yeah. Sorry, I've hit the yawn phase of life.
That's fine.
Just yawn.
Any other shows before we wrap it up, or?
I just died.
So yeah,
I can't think of any other shows.
Yeah, none off the top of my head right
Sonic X. No,
we've already talked about Sonic X in depth.
We could talk more. It's a great show with the grandpa and the screwdrivers.
Our rewatch of that is still the funniest thing ever. Because the whole time we did a whole podcast talking about the Sonic shows, which was mostly Sonic X, but
screwdrivers.
Ironically, no, we recorded that before we watched it, which makes it even funnier.
We were just watching it for the hell of it, just to watch how fucking terrible it is.
Oh yeah, well, because it was on Hulu, and we were like, "Fuck it."
Okay, we're watching.
What else were we doing at that point in time?
Yeah.
We were still kind of in like the weird COVID-ish era.
Sorry.
But yeah, Sonic X.
Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast. Gotta go faster, faster, Sonic X.
I still think the older show has the better intro. He's the fastest thing alive. Like
Sonic X. That's the best one. Best one out there.
But yeah, so anyways, once again, guys, thanks for joining us on GNC Podcast.
I want to say it. Thanks so much, guys, for joining us on the GNC Podcast. My name is Alex, and I need you can follow us on all of our social media.
Alright, I need to silence
myself. Fuck you. You can follow us on all your favorite podcasting thingies, such as YouTube and Spoofy.
Right, if you're gonna do it right, or else I'm muting you.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Fine. Anyways, though, like you can find us on all the major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple Podcast and Spotify. You can also find us on YouTube, and if you'd like, you can find all of our links at linktree/thebarberwhogames. Alex is dying in the corner. You guys can't see it now,
Can't
but
hear it.
and if you'd like, you can join us at the GNC Podcast Network Discord server to talk all things gaming, collecting, 3DO experience, geek addicts, talk gaming, anime, or general nonsense.
Uplines is helpful to cover up the coughing.
You can also talk to Alex about all these cursed shows. Talk about the guy from Jimmy Neutron, who I can't remember his name, but he slaps a lot.
Slap, 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 clap, 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 slap, 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 clap, clap, clap.
But anyways, guys, once again, we'll see you all later.
I see dead people.
That's a problem.
There's a ghost. I'm looking at him right now. He's wearing glasses, has long hair. It looks like he's a fucking weeb.
I didn't realize you had a mirror right in front of you.